And now we have a rather unusual event about to take place here on our program. We call it our program, but actually it isn't. It is not very well known, I don't think, but the Bob and Ray Junior Science Foundation each year chooses the lad in the USA who has invented or conceived the most unusual scientific achievement. Now, today, that lad is here, and to present the award, I introduce Professor Herkimer Flexner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goulding. This is an auspicious occasion, and I'm very happy to be here to lend my weight to the occasion. It's for a great deal of pleasure now that I introduce Rodney Forbush, age 14, of Limpet, Ohio. Rodney, how do you feel?
Oh, gee, I feel great.
And you came all the way from Limpet, Ohio.
Oh, gee, yes, sir.
How did you come?
I flew, sir.
And which airline did you use?
Oh, I didn't use an airline, sir. I used wings.
Would you repeat that, Rodney?
I used wings. I made them myself, sir.
That's a remarkable boy. Now, Rodney, I want you to tell us about your invention, your scientific achievement.
Well, sir, excuse me, sir. Do I seem too enthusiastic, sir?
Yeah, full of vim and vigor, and that's good for a boy.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm just bubbling over with the idea. Well, sir, ever since I was a baby, I've been drinking frozen orange juice, sir.
Yeah, well, that's good for you.
So after drinking frozen orange juice for all my 14 years, the idea came to me that I should analyze it. Maybe I could bring it out in another form, sir.
Bring out orange juice in another form,
Yes,
Rodney?
sir. So I analyzed it and found out what constituted frozen orange juice.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
And then I unfroze it, and I put it into little solid pieces I call segments. And then I put a white skin around each section. And then I put the segments together in a round shape like a baseball.
Yeah.
And then around the ball, I put a skin for a cover to protect it.
Hey, that sounds good.
My idea is to sell these balls by the dozen.
Well, that's all right. What are you going to call them?
I'm going to call them oranges, sir.
All right, both of you out. Ladies, here's your chance to have clean, wholesome adventure while serving your municipality.
Yes, sir, you can earn, or yes, ma'am, you can earn good pay by enlisting now in WHDH, the Women's Auxiliary of the Department of Sanitation.
Now, the Department of Sanitation needs women to work side by side with the men on the street.
Experience the thrill of riding the big General Grant sanitation truck side by side with the city's crack garbage collectors.
See strange parts of town, travel new streets and avenues, new highways and byways.
If you enlist now, you can have your choice of any branch of the service, garbage, ashes, or regular trash.
Listen now to what Sanitation Commissioner Herman Finagler has to say about the WHDH.
Say, girls, you don't know the fun you're missing by not joining the Women's Auxiliary of the Department of Sanitation. The WHDH is not all work and no play, no ma'am. There are jolly weekly get-togethers in the department canteen where you will meet handsome, clean-cut sanitation men. You will enjoy the swap sessions when collectors from every route exchange items they have salvaged during the day's campaign.
Well, Mr. Finagler, isn't it true, too, that the ladies will wear the smartest of uniforms?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Bob. Yes, it's true. The WHDH uniform is one of the slinkiest of any city service. It was especially designed by the great French couturier, Mademoiselle Scalapine.
Oh, what about promotions, sir?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Bob. Promotions are frequent in the WHDH. The new recruit, of course, starts as a kicker.
What is that, sir?
Well, she'll be assigned to work with a non-commissioned can heaver. Now, when the non-com heaves a can of garbage onto the truck, some bits and pieces naturally fall to the ground.
Of course.
The recruit's job is to kick those bits and pieces around till they get lost.
And what's the next step up the line of promotion?
Well, that would be the job of can selector. In this job, the lady walks ahead of the truck and chooses which cans will be emptied and which cans will be ignored.
Well, I guess it's just no limit to the rank which a lady can achieve in the WHDH.
No, Bob, there isn't any limit to the rank a lady can achieve in the WHDH. A loyal, a hard-working wad can eventually rise to a choice spot on the dawn patrol.
Well, what would she do then?
Well, she'd have the much-envied job of banging empty garbage cans while the city sleeps.
Thank you, Mr. Finagler, for telling us about the Women's Auxiliary of the Department of Sanitation.
Well, thank you for having me here.
All right, let's answer some of the mail here, Tony, huh? Did you remember a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how old horses get? I mean, how old they can get?
That's right, Alden.
And I'm in receipt of a letter from William D. Locke of Kimpton, Herefordshire, in England.
That's all.
Says your recent words about longevity in horses prompts me to tell you that I had a hunter mare who produced a foal in 1919 at the age of 22. The four lived until 1947. My wife says Mr. Locke hunted those two horses with the Herefordshire for 35 years, the last time in 1940.
That's all.
The same time, I had two gun dogs, a Cocker Spaniel, age 16, and a Labrador, age 17. I think that this record from one home will be hard to beat.
That's right, all.
I might add, says Mr. Locke, I am 92. What do we got to eat today?
Well, Arthur, we have...
This is National Raisin Week, I understand.
That's right, Arthur. We have some raisins for everybody here.
That's good, that's good.
We also have some dried apricots, Arthur, for everybody, sent over from the Apricot Institute, Arthur.
The Apricot Institute.
And an apron here, courtesy of Miss Mary Magoon, Arthur, for everyone.
Well, that's wonderful. And just don't leave the paper cups around the studio, huh?
How old was that horse, Arthur?
He was 22 at the time of his death. Well, folks, as you know, we've cooperated in the past many times with the Tourist Bureau of Hawaii.
And they were very glad to cooperate again.
Our cooperation consists of making announcements in behalf of the Hawaiian Tourist Bureau.
So, today we have the following announcement, and I quote,
Ohoho kohano sono asata.
Aloha no telefono AT&T.
Noki lahano kana makono 15 cents. With relish, 20 cents.
Moki no ko ohawa iki wiki boom.
Not sold to minors.
Ma ha 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 ho ho ho. A lot of laughs.
Only one person to a surfboard.
Oh gee, oh boy, some fun. Tourist Bureau of Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Bring your ukulele. Well, let's see. It's eating time now, huh?
That's right,
What do we
Arthur.
got to give the audience today, Tony?
Well, Arthur, we've had some marshmallows sent over from the Marshmallow Institute of North America.
That's good. That's good. Any Hawaiian food today?
Yes, there was some poi sent over from the Poi Institute of Hawaii.
Little
Arthur.
paper cups, huh?
Little baby orchid thrown in, Arthur, to be presented.
That's nice. All you ladies will have that to wear when you leave.
That's right, Arthur.
I see some potato chips over there.
That's right, Arthur, from the Potato Chip Council of the Eastern United States.
And with the courtesy of the apple growers, a slice of apple for everybody.
That's right, Arthur.
When was that apple sliced?
Well, there were several apples, Arthur, sliced.
It's delicious business, anyway.
That's right, it is, Arthur.
And so it won't be a total loss. You got a paper bag.
And some cider, Arthur, from the Cider Institute of New England sent out some for everybody. Paper cup.
Good. Well, you folks be sure to drink that here before you leave. And take it away in that paper bag, huh?
That's right, Arthur.
All right. Let's get on with the show.
Well, you know, there's been an awful lot of talk about the government projecting off into space a new satellite, a moon type of satellite.
Not to be outdone, we at Bob and Ray Laboratories have been quite busy in the last week or two.
Well, actually, we didn't do all the work at the laboratories. It was down in my cellar, and we have made up a satellite sun so that we hope, well, because of the weather this weekend, we won't be able to project it, but we hope soon to have the sunshine 24 hours a day, folks.
We're going to launch it from the famous Bob and Ray Zeppelin, which was featured in a show that flopped a few years ago, the Zeppelinorama, that we were behind at the time.
Now, Bob, you have the technical details there on the lights that are going to go into this satellite, and...
Well, I don't want to get too technical because it does run into...
For those who listen who are scientifically bent, maybe they will glean something from this.
Yes. Well, I hope you're listening then. It's going to be powered. Well, not powered, actually. No, I'm using the wrong word.
Yeah.
It's going to have something like 16 to 20 candles inside this thing that's about the size of a beach ball.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to send it off the first of next week, and we hope that we'll be able to tell you more about it. Maybe you'll be able to see it out there in space. You know, space is way out there, and it's way out.
And if we can get it out there, we also hope to man it. We want to send Wally Ballou with it. I haven't spoken to him about it yet, but if he will go, we're certainly all
That's
ready.
right. We hope to fill the satellite with two lights that will burn all the time and Wally Ballou.
If we make it round, it'll probably work much better, we think.
So,
But that's enough.
we don't want you to
technical
think that we haven't been keeping up with science folks here at the Bob and Ray Laboratory, so you keep watching the sky.
stuff. If you see a bright light, it'll be that.
Have you heard this new record that, was it Pete Rugula made with his band?
No, I've heard about it. This will be the first time I've heard it.
It's based on the famous Guy Lombardo ending, you know, the doom,
Oh, yeah.
doom. So why don't we give that a listen right now?
Pete Rugolo and the theme from the Lombardo ending. And speaking of speedboats and the Lombardos and music, two of the foremost band leaders in our studio again this week. Friends of all of yours, I know, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their racing craft. I'd like to have you meet the McBeebe twins, Walt and Clyde.
Well, thank you very much. It's good to be back, and we're very pleased to be able to talk about our racing boats, too.
All right. Well, now, both of these are identical, isn't that right, Walt and Clyde?
Yes, being twins, we try to do everything in that same way. Our boats both cost the same, they're colored the same way, and the motors are the same. As a matter of fact, sometimes we get them confused.
I should think you would. Well, now, you're not going to be taking part in the regatta out there this afternoon, are you?
No, both our boats sprung a leak. Just last week, we hit something that was submerged. It was the boats that we submerged last year when we had a collision on Buckeye Lake right outside of Columbus, Ohio.
I see our engineer is looking a little bit askance in here, and maybe some of you listening are, and we'll repeat that we're talking to the McBeebe twins and their orchestra, Walt and Clyde. You've had boats, then, in the big race before.
Would you prefer that one of us do the talking, or is it confusing you folks here as much as we both like to talk?
No, I don't think it makes too much difference. We're happy to hear both sides of the situation. I suppose a lot of people get you two mixed up just as you get the boats mixed up, don't they?
Yes. Oftentimes I'm taken for Clyde. And he's taken for Walt.
Well, who was that said that? Walt or Clyde? You both. Clyde. Walt. All right. Well, now we'll be hearing from you a little bit later. We don't have your newest record here. What was the last record you made, Walt and Clyde?
The last record we made was they're putting a sewer through our old Lover's Lane.
And that really didn't reach the big-time mark. I know you're a little bit disappointed in it. You told us about that once before.
Yes, there were so many clinkers in it. And we were in a rush to get the recording date over. It was a pretty bad record, technically and musically.
Well, okay, thank you very much, Walt and Clyde. Best of luck to you, and I hope you get your boats fixed up so next year you can take part in the race.
Thank you.
Well, we think we have a heartwarming feature at this point. We've had our scouts out the last week, and they have rounded up two gentlemen. These men are 80 years old. They were twins. They still are twins, of course. But the interesting part of the story is they haven't seen each other for 72 years. Ever since they were 8 years old, they've been separated. In just a few seconds, Ray, are they all set back there?
Yes, Bob. Coming to our microphone now is Frederick Coshocton, 80 years old. He's never seen his brother.
His brother Wilbur is on the other side of the stage, and as soon as we pull back the curtains, they're going to meet right here at our Bob and Ray microphone for the first time in 72 years. Will you open the curtain?
Hello, Wilbur.
Hello, Frank.
I guess I'll go home.
Yeah, me too.
So
long.
Yeah. I'll see you, Wilbur.
Well, there indeed was a heartwarming meeting. 72 years later, the two brothers, the Coshocton brothers, meet here on our Bob and Ray stage. Let's give them a real round of applause. Could I have your name, ma'am, please?
Miss Thurston.
Is Ms. or Miss Thurston?
I'm visiting.
Oh, good. Where are you from, Miss Thurston?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to give my home. Kansas City.
Well, we have a couple of spare minutes here. We thought we'd talk to you. Kansas City. What's doing out that way?
Well, the other Kansas City, they're all excited about the new ball team. I'm from the other Kansas City.
Oh, you're from the other one. And what brings you here to New York?
Well, just thought I'd come along, visit here for a few days, maybe.
Is there a Mr. Thurston out there, Miss Thurston?
Oh, yes.
What does he do?
He's a plumber in Kansas City.
And he didn't come along with you on this trip,
No,
I take
this is very busy for him. Well, I don't talk much to Mr. Thurston.
Oh, that's so?
Oh, I don't believe we've said 30 words in 15 years to one another.
Kind of a sorry situation.
Well, he's cranky and I'm grouchy, so we just
Do you have
don't
have any relatives here in this part of the country?
No, I don't. There's nobody here that I know that I can look up, but I've gone around New York City
Seen
here.
the sights, Empire State Building,
Saw
I
the
suppose.
Empire State Building.
Radio City, of course, you're
And
here
all
now.
the rain you've had this weekend.
Yes, we've had a great deal.
Yeah,
See the UN building?
Yes, I saw that.
Go down the Battery, go out to the Statue of Liberty.
No, I haven't seen them yet, but I hope to.
Take a trip around Manhattan on the boat, did you?
No, I didn't know you could do that.
Can do that.
Oh.
Seen the George Washington Bridge?
I don't know as I have. I've seen some of the bridges.
Central
And I
Park.
saw the railroad station.
Grand
You
Central.
have a fine railroad station.
Sure we do. Mighty proud of both of them, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
You have any hobbies, Miss Thurston?
No, not especially. I like to bake.
Well, real nice, and I think you lead a very pleasant life out there in Kansas City. Give them all our best when you get back. What are you bound for now?
Oh, I think I'll go out and get loaded.
Hi, Miss Thurston. Now back to...
A few feet from the end of Long Island, where Ray is going to attempt something we've never done before as part of the Bob and Ray experimental laboratory section. I wonder if you'd tell us just what it is you're going to do, Ray.
We brought out our own bathoscope, and we tossed a coin here. Unfortunately, Bob lost, so I'm going down in the bathoscope. I'm getting in now.
This is just big enough for one man. You.
That's right. It's round, and Bob, it will be up to you, of course, to see that I get air.
Yeah,
And,
I'll be up here on the surface and manning the air pump as we carry on a two-way conversation.
Okay, and then we have a small microphone installed in the bathoscope so that I can tell you what I see.
Bathysphere, I think we call it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Push over.
Right on. There he goes, and now it's descending. The water here, they tell us, is some 70 or 80 feet. Ray,
Yeah.
I've got the earphones. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm down about 20 feet now, and it's a lot deeper at this point than we had judged, Bob.
Well, you know, we didn't check it, and I suppose that is one of those things that you should look into.
Another thing, there's a slight technical problem here. I'm not getting any air.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll see if I can do anything. No, it's all the air we can give you.
I can't see a thing either. It's
We should have tried it out, actually, before you went down there, I think.
There's no air.
It's hard to breathe.
Could you get me up now, please?
Well, we've got to wait for the assistant to come out here. I can't do it myself, you know.
Yes, I see. Well, I can't emphasize speed enough to you.
Sure. Well, look, I'll try to get as much air as I can down.
Please get me up out of here, please.
Thing says maximum now. Is that where it should stand?
I can't see. Get me up out of here, Bob. I don't want to appear nervous.
We'll be calling you in again from time to time, and you have everything you need down there.
I got a book, but I can't see anything. Get me up, I mean it.
I'll see what we can do, and I'll call you again in just a little while, okay? Just be calm. I picked a letter at random from the week's mail, and fortunately it poses a question. It says, Bob and Ray, you have been telling us how different things work the past few weeks, barbershop and a typewriter, telephone. But why don't you start at the beginning and tell us how radio works? I think that's a good question.
Well, all right, then. Is that a gentleman or a lady?
It's a lady, I assume by the handwriting.
All right, ma'am. We'll be very pleased to explain radio to you. Now, how it works simply is this. We talk, as we're talking to you now, into what is called a microphone. Here, I'll touch it. Hear that? That's the microphone. Now,
It's sensitive, too.
leading from the microphone is a cord, much like the cord you'd find on your toaster. And you plug it into the wall, and then it goes to your house.
In between is the man known as the control room engineer who sees that it goes to your house.
Well, I think I might point out here that it isn't that simple, really.
Well,
Somewhere
let's not get too technical because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you have answered the question.
Well, somewhere there is, say, a tower. Now, as we're talking to you, our voice goes up the tower, and it goes off into the air like. And
you
then goes to your house.
You know how it goes from there. You turn the radio on. You have it on now, huh?
In your house, or in your automobile radio, or any place you may have a radio it's going to. And
you hear it before we do. That's
Did you know
the thing
that?
that's always amazed me. You hear us before we hear us.
That's the way it is with radio.
I may be wrong on that.
There's something electrical about it.
Location again at a few hundred feet south of the tip of Long Island, and we're just pulling out the bathysphere, which Ray went down, in which we developed air trouble. I'm going to open the hatchway and see if we can get him out. The two-way communication has been cut off temporarily. And there we go, Ray. Oh, take a deep breath of that fresh air.
Gave me a few anxious moments down there. Let me tell you now, what happened?
I guess so. Well, we discovered the trouble after you were practically up here, so we figured you'd better come up. This little gadget here wasn't open to the fullest.
On the way up, I made a few notes that I think would be wise to guide our future
Sure, it's well.
events. One thing, Bob, there's not enough air getting down there to me.
Well, I think we've taken care of that all
And
right.
another thing, of course, the winch breaking. You see, what could happen is that I could possibly stay down there, and I made a note of that.
Right.
And,
Well,
another thing, I don't believe there's adequate lighting. I wonder
it's
could I
dark, huh?
bring a flashlight with
sure,
me
it's
this
one
time.
right over here if you want to take this. You know you have to go
And
down again.
One other note I made was about communications. You know,
Yes.
they broke and you couldn't
Yes.
hear me. So if we can check
Well,
that.
I kept things going up here.
All right, well, then I'll
they
go down
could hear-
again.
All right. We're going to complete the dive now. He's back into the bathysphere. We made this down Ray's cellar a couple of weeks ago, and this is the first chance we've had to try it out. And so far, by and large, it's worked pretty good. I'm going to try the two-way radio now. See, hello, Ray?
Yeah. I'm down about 20 feet again, and we made a little mistake
What's
this
the matter?
time. Right when you pushed the bathysphere off the edge, Bob,
Yes.
you dented it, and there's a small leakage here. I don't believe it will be serious, but
Okay.
there's a steady dribble of water coming through. And again,
Fine,
point
I
out
can hear you.
the air is not right. There's just not enough of it.
Something wrong. Wait a minute. I can't hear what he's saying.
Hello?
Hello.
And
No, Eddie, will you see if you can fix the two-way thing here?
I can't seem to hear you at all down here. And the air, get me up.
I
Get me
can't
up out of
hear
here.
a word that he's saying, but
Get me up.
we'll try to get that fixed
Hello?
up before our next
Help.
report.
Get me up.
Hello. Bob Elliott here outside the great glass window, and as usual, a tour is standing around watching the progress of a radio program. We thought we might ask a few of the folks a particular question. How about you, sir? Could we start with you?
Sure enough.
The question is, where are you from? That isn't the question, but where are you from?
What do you mean?
In case some of the folks at home are listening. It is a question, but we have another one to ask.
Oh, I see. You mean, where do I live?
Yes.
Montauk.
In Long Island.
Yes, sir.
And here is the question we thought might be interesting. Your most harrowing experience. Could you tell us what it was?
Let me think.
Most all of us have had some point in their life.
Some terrible thing, you
some
mean?
time or other when a terrible thing might have happened or was going to happen and didn't.
Oh, I think it happened very recently. About 3 weeks ago, I went away for a short holiday.
Uh-huh. This is still quite fresh in your mind.
That's
I can
right.
see beads of perspiration on your
And
forehead.
I forgot to pack my toothbrush. I think that was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life.
That was it, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's have a lady's point of view here. Maybe
That must have been terrifying.
you're, I know you're consoling him. He is. He's wringing his hands there, and
Sorry you brought it back to his
Shuffling
mind.
his feet. How about
I'd
you,
almost
ma'am?
forgotten it, too. And I'll be thinking of it all the rest
Well, let's
of the
try
tour.
to change the subject. Ma'am, do you have a harrowing experience that stands out in your mind?
Yes, I remember one time I was waiting for a bus,
Uh-oh.
and it was bitter cold. And right across the street, I saw a man get a flat tire.
Yes?
That was my most harrowing experience.
Oh, thank you both for giving us these little excerpts from your
That wasn't
memory.
half as harrowing as mine.
No, I think yours was a little more harrowing, sir.
Well,
It
I
was more
suppose
personal.
It just depends.
Now, as they stand here
From your
debating
viewpoint.
and
Now, I
waiting for the guide
granted
to
that
take
yours
them to
was
the next spot
harrowing,
on the tour,
but
we'll
mine
take
was
you
pretty
back
harrowing,
inside.
particularly while I was waiting for a bus.
Standing in the auxiliary bathysphere that I've gone down in to see if Ray is okay and just how large the dent is in the side of his bathysphere. Can you hear me, Ray?
Yes, Bob. That leak that I have here in my bathysphere is growing larger now.
I can see it through the little glass window here in the auxiliary bathysphere.
I'm looking around the floor of the bay, and there isn't much. There are some fish, an awful lot of sand, and again, I don't seem to be getting enough air. And how about you over there in the auxiliary bathysphere?
Well, no, it could be a little better here, too. I wonder if you can see me if you look out through the little window in your
Yes,
bathysphere.
I can see you. Much better. The light seems to be better now than it was. But how's the air over in your...
It could be a little better, as I said. As I was thinking just before we went on the air, it would be too bad if we didn't have enough air here to keep up this broadcast throughout the afternoon.
Do you see anything that might be worth salvaging down here at all?
No, a lot of kelp. And water, and...
I'm kind of sorry we came down, because the air's going out like that, and this leak, it bothers me. It's up about my, see, I'm in a crouched position, and it's up to about my ankles now. And,
about 4 or 5 inches of water
and
there.
it's coming in at fast clip.
Well, I think we've accomplished enough. What say we go topside?
All right, now, let's go. Oh, Bob. Who's up there to get us up? Bob.
Yeah. Who's up there?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I came down in the auxiliary. You're there in the main one.
We only have the 2 communicating earphones between you and ourselves. There's nobody up there, is there? I mean, who would hear us even?
No, there isn't.
Oh.
Industry on the march. Wally Ballou is standing by at a restaurant here in town to bring us some information. I assume talking with probably a chef or maybe the owner. So come in, please, Lee Ballou.
Lee Ballou speaking from the Golden Chain Restaurant here in New York, one of the most delightful of the new dining places. Standing just between the kitchen and the service door where the food is brought from the kitchen to the folks seated at the tables inside. The owner and head man here, Mr. Thurkel, is standing beside me, and I wonder if you'd tell us just what the motif of your restaurant is, sir.
Well, we have a lot of golden chains hanging all around it, and
I noticed those as I came.
We borrowed it from the name, and it's all done in, well, we have card tables there covered with what you might call paper covers, sort of.
Paper mache?
What's that?
Paper mache?
Paper mache? What do you mean?
Paper mache covers on the tables.
No, they're not paper mache. They're like tablecloths, only they're paper.
Well, that's a small
We have
point.
plastic forks and knives and spoons, and we've tried to keep the overhead down. What
Well,
we
you-
want to do is serve good food.
Well, that, of course, is a great aim and one that folks have tried before in the restaurant business.
What you do, you drop the steak, we'll brush it off.
And
That's all you have to do.
good many of them have lost their shirt working that way. Do you find that the folks are taking to
Keep the
your...
light out there when you go to the table, so I'm sorry.
Mr.
Fresh
Thurkel
fellow
was
just
speaking
started for us today, and you have to break him in, you
one
know.
of the new waiters, I guess. Do you find business has been good? Are folks going for this system of running a restaurant?
People, I think, are not ready for plastic knives and forks.
Notice you have those little plastic containers of mustard and ketchup.
That's right, and plastic cups and saucers.
Well, how much do they pay for an average meal?
Our soup is served in a paper cup.
Yeah, well, what's the average meal run here, Mr. Thurkel?
The average meal will run you maybe $6 or $7.
Well, now, there, I think we've hit on the nub of the situation. Why you haven't had more business. People are not going to spend $6 or $7 and have to eat off plastic plates with paper napkins. I mean, they go out to a restaurant, spend that kind of money to have service and nice surroundings.
What's wrong with stools for sitting on?
Well, they're not as comfortable as easy chairs, something like that.
Well, I could, of course, give them all those refinements, but then the price would skyrocket. It would then cost them more money to enjoy this wonderful food. I specialize in Western omelets and in soups of all kinds.
What do your soups run?
They run maybe $1.50 or so.
$1.50 for a paper plate of soup, huh? Well, good luck to you, Mr. Thurkel, and it's been a pleasure to look behind the scenes of the restaurant business. And until next time in our next report, this is Lee Ballou.
Before you go, I'd like you to enjoy one of our meals here.
Thank you very much.
I'd like you to sit down.
I'll
Will you take care of him, please, Pierre?
Glad to stay, and right now we'll send it back to...
There's big news from Washington this weekend, and Bob and Ray's correspondent Gabe Preston is standing by at our Washington studios, ready to tape his report for later use. Our lines are open. Gabe, can you hear me?
Fine. Anytime.
Hello, Gabe.
Yeah.
This is Bob Elliott here.
Yeah, Bob.
We're set to tape your
Okay, I have...
Washington
I
report.
think I have about 2 minutes of stuff here.
Good. We've got plenty of time today.
How soon will you be using it?
Well, just let me... Well, it'll be on in 2 or 3 hours, I think.
Oh, well, okay.
So
It's a pretty hot story, Bob.
Speak in the future tense. I mean, so that it'll
I don't
fit
know
in
what you
with
mean.
3 hours from now.
What do you mean, future tense?
Well, I mean, do everything as if it had happened. I think that's the simplest way.
It has happened.
Well, okay, we'll try it and see how it sounds. I've got the tape
Let me do
already.
the way I'm doing it.
Let me hear how you were going to start it.
This is Gabe Preston in Washington, D.C. with a very
Good beginning.
important
Good start,
story.
Gabe. That'll be swell. Now, let me just turn the tape on, and we'll be ready.
You give me a go-ahead, right?
Right. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, you all set now? You're rolling?
Yes, we're rolling now.
There,
Wait, let's get a clean start, huh?
Right.
Go ahead.
This
From Washington. No, that was... Go ahead for me, Gabe. I have to introduce it, you see.
Okay.
Right. Go ahead. From Washington, Bob and Ray's correspondent Gabe Preston with news from our nation's capital.
This is Gabe. Did I overlap you?
I think you did. Let me... they're running it back now. We'll just take a clean start. All right? Yeah. From Washington... Oh, I didn't wait for go ahead. Wait a minute. Go ahead. From Washington, here is Bob and Ray's correspondent in our nation. I think I whistled there, Gabe.
Hey,
let me take
I got
again.
an idea. Could I go ahead and do mine, and you could stick that little intro on later?
Do it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't I just go ahead and do mine?
Oh, swell.
This is Gabe.
Wait a minute, I got to roll it back. Boy. Okay, now it's set. Go ahead.
This is Gabe Preston in Washington.
Oh, no, I got to get it. It's D.C., Gabe. I think. Right. Anytime.
What do you mean?
Just go ahead.
Rolling?
It's rolling now.
This is Gabe Preston in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. A very, a store.
Gabe.
Yeah?
I just had a signal that our time is just about up. I think, can you hang around for 2 or 3 hours and do it live?
Sure.
When it'll be on.
Sure, I'll be right. I'll stay right here in the hotel
Take
room.
our chances until then. And so much for the news. I think it's time now for our Good Neighbor Award. Just passed.
On the stage.
We just had all of the reports in, and I wonder, sir, if you would come in and give us your name very briefly and a summary of why you were picked by Bob and Ray Scouts as the good neighbor.
Frederick E. Hogan.
Mr. Hogan, is that with 2 G's or 1?
That's 1 G.
1 G.
There's no G in Frederick.
No, I meant Hogan.
Hogan.
You are from Lansing, Michigan?
Yes, sir.
And would you tell us just quickly what you did to win the award?
Yes, well, I was walking down Elm Street, which was one of our principal residential streets there in Lansing, and I came across a fella who had a piano, but the leg of the piano was on his foot, and he couldn't move, so... So I could tell that his morale was very low point, and I was an accomplished piano player, and I sat down and played 20 minutes.
Cheer him up, huh?
Right, I played 20 minutes, some Beethoven for him, and he was delighted. And then after I finished playing the piano, the music, I gave him my card to the Elks Club, and he could go down there when he got his foot out.
Do you know how long it took for him to get the piano off his foot? Did you look into the matter later?
No.
And I guess it was not until you wrote your story to the...
Well, my wife submitted it to
Your wife submitted your story to the Good Neighbor Board here at the Bob and Ray Show, and you were selected unanimously from many others sent in. I want to congratulate you, Mr. Hogan, and you will receive...
Hogan. It's one G.
You'll receive...
I don't know if I've ever seen that ever spelled with two G's. I don't know where you ever got that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I never have seen it. Never.
Your award as our Good Neighbor of the Month, a purple-tinted electric toaster. A pop-up toaster. I think you're going to get a lot of use out of it.
Purple-tinted pop-up toaster.
You can have your choice of colors. We just happen to have a purple one here.
Well, you know, they don't...
Thank your wife for sending in your story, and we certainly hope
you fellows are built wrong. You should be called Generous Bob and Ray.
Hope the rest of you are thinking of people who might be deserving of the Bob and Ray Good Neighbor Award. If you can think of someone you know, send us their story.
And now it's to Bailey's Mistake, Maine, where Wally Ballou and Artie Skirmahorn are covering the finals of the great international checker tournament that's been held up there this past week. So come in, please, Wally Ballou.
International checker tournament, which has been held up there this week, and we decided to cover it. Standing here at the finals table, I'm looking over the shoulder of the defending American champion from Bailey's Mistake, Maine, Farley Fentress, whose move it is, incidentally, and the French-Canadian champion, Lucien Bouchette. Artie, can you see anything from your vantage point that I'm not able to cover from here?
Well, I'm just standing in back of Lucien Bouchette's chair. I have a very good view of the board. This game has started approximately 15 minutes ago, Wally, and that's about all I can say. I might point out that Lucien is wearing a white shirt and appears to be a dirty collar.
Most of the people, the spectators who are gathered here, have been quite silent, applauding only upon the more exceptional moves of either one of the players. This game started out even.
Wally, I think a move is coming up here. I hate to interrupt you, but...
All right. I think maybe you heard that over our parabolic microphone. The move, and a little round of applause, too, for Farley Fentress, who seems to have cornered the opponent. Maybe you can see better from your vantage point, Artie.
It's Bouchette's play now. He's looking over the board. He appears to be cornered with that one particular move. However, there is an escape. I think he's working that out slowly now in his mind.
Not there, Lucien. Not... Oh.
I don't think you should help that way.
I didn't mean to make that outburst. But it doesn't seem to have rattled.
Lucien has made his move.
Made the move. It was the wrong one. And now it remains only for Farley Fentress to clean the board of Lucien Bouchette's entire... There it is.
That was a tough move.
And maybe you heard in the background...
I don't know how come I can be the champion there.
There's a round of applause
for...
for...
That was a dumb move on it.
The loser. Evidently, he got rattled toward the end there. I wonder if we could have a word from the champion, Mr. Fentress.
How do you do? It certainly is a pleasure to be talking on your microphone.
Could you tell us at what point in the game, Farley, you knew you had Lucien cornered?
Well, right there when he made that very stupid maneuver.
Did he hurt you at any time during the match?
Stupid on it. There was
now there seems to be an argument brewing, and I think...
pal. What do you mean there? Punch you on
before we get into any actual fisticuffs, we'll return it to New York.
Come down here.
And from New York, welcome to the After Hour television show starring Hack Park and myself, Eustace Dove. Now the star of our show, Hack Park.
Hello out there. Listening to that applause, either I'm better than I thought or there are 300 or 400 masseurs at work in the audience. Eustace, who's our first guest tonight?
Well, Hack, it's the secretary.
Oh, him.
Well, Hack, we tried getting you for the show, but you know how you are. You go right home and you never go out and all that stuff. I'll bet you've only been to a nightclub maybe once in the past 3 years.
Well, I get sentimental and cry when I see a bill laid in front of me on a table.
Hack, forgive me, but before the secretary comes on, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead, Eustace.
Well, everything Hack says is true. Along with his natural flippancy, there's a tendency on his part to be, well, good, I suppose.
Go ahead, Eustace. The secretary can wait. Go ahead.
Well, Hack, people have asked me what Hack Park is really like, and you see, Hack, you're so many people.
Well, I have to be. There's so much to do around here, and I have to be so many people to look after all the details. And thus far, what I've done here has been incredible. I mean that, Eustace.
I know you do, Hack, and that's part of it. But the thing that...
Excuse me, Eustace. Folks, about Eustace. Most of you out there don't know this, but Eustace is seldom wrong.
Oh, Hack.
No, look, I mean that, Eustace. Most people do not know how right you are.
Well...
And I'll tell you something else about Eustace, who's part of our family here. He's been to my home, and he's seen a lot.
Well, Hack is right about that. I might tell you that I was moved by what I saw, and so was Hack. What most people don't know is that Hack is a man who is easily moved. When I was there, Hack was, well, there wasn't a crying jag or anything like that.
Tell them why I was moved, Eustace.
Well, I don't know if you folks out there know this, but there's a stream that runs adjacent to Jack's house.
Well, I like streams. They're nice.
Anyhow, about 6 months ago, there was this crab. I suppose it came from the stream. Well, it crawled into Hack's home.
Oh, that was a wild night. Wild!
And wouldn't you know, that crab crawled into one of Hack's best suits, and the marvelous thing about it, Hack continued to wear the suit, crab and all. Now, very few people know that.
Well, look, I make no pretense. I'm flooded with sentiment. People have asked me why, and I just tell them it's part of my fabulous way. Am I going to lie?
Hack, you make it sound simple because it comes easy to you.
That's the way it is.
There are very few people who would walk around with a crab in their suit.
Well, thank you, Eustace. You know what you're talking about. Now, let's bring out the secretary. Here he is now.
Hack, I'm glad to be here, and I come to this program with an offer. I have been empowered by the powers that be to ask you...
Wait just a minute, dear heart. Are you about to offer me a high government post?
Why, yes,
Well, that's sweet, but I never leave my house except for this nightly aggravation here. Tell you what, why don't you give the post to Eustace? He knows a great deal.
Thank you, Hack. I don't want to leave a swell guy like you.
Well, suit yourself, Eustace. And now, sir, as a high government official, what was the funniest thing that ever happened to you?
This evening, via two-way radio, we're paying a visit to the head of one of our city's library systems, Mr. Forrest Princely, adventurer, author, and raconteur. Mr. Princely's apartment is in a quiet brownstone in New York City's pleasant East 60s, and he should be at home now. Hello, Forrest.
Hello, Fred, and welcome to my humble abode.
It's a real pleasure to be here. We've looked forward to this visit.
Thank you.
I wonder if you'd show us around. You're comfortable.
Well, I'd be delighted to. I think one of the things that might be of interest to those who'd be looking in would be this desk here. Now, the former Governor McClintock of North Dakota gave this to me in 1911.
Very beautiful.
Fred. And it's Indian mahogany. It's a beautiful desk.
I was going to say that you're lucky to have found an apartment which kind of follows your library training, being so...
Well, oddly enough, I'd like to take you out and show you the library that I have at home. Can you hear a little noise in the...
We're getting a little bit of it, yes. It's coming through.
Well, this would probably be hard to believe, but the apartment above mine here has been vacant for 17 months.
That's so.
Unfortunately, they're moving in up there on the day that you pay us a visit.
Certainly a coincidence. Did they know that you were going to be on the air tonight?
I couldn't hear you.
I say, did they know you were going to be on the air tonight?
Well, I don't think it's much of a secret. Your trucks are out front and the microphones are all over the place. I don't know what they thought all the trucks would mean.
Could you show us some of your favorite books that you've collected as librarian?
Goodness, that's terrible. Well, here I have some interesting first editions, Fred. I have, I'll hold it up so you can see it.
Yes.
This is
There's a little bit of plaster there on your shoulder.
Oh.
Evidently the ceiling is cracking somewhat.
It's not modern furniture, airy thing. More like those heavy old period pieces they're moving in.
Sounds
My word, that's terrible. This first edition here of Tom Sawyer, I have the Hardy Brothers. I'm sorry, I can't even think to talk. I'm going crazy with this. I hope this isn't a omen of every night the rest of my life here in this apartment.
Horace Princely, head of our city's library system. Our thanks for joining us, and good night, boys.
Good night. Hey, Bob, we've been so pressed for time all day long that we haven't had a chance to call our answering service for messages, you know.
In fact, you think it'd be a good idea to call the answering service girl
I think
right
so,
now?
really, yeah.
You have the number there on that piece of paper?
Yeah, it's right there.
Let's see.
Hello, Ines Clayton speaking. Ines Clayton of the Mrs. Bordez answering service.
Hello, this is Bob Elliott of Bob and Ray. Any messages for us?
Yes, I have some here. The first is a message for Mr. Goulding.
Who?
Mr. Goulding.
Is there a Mr. Goulding
That's
here?
me, Bob, me.
Oh, it's for Ray. Yeah, well, I'll take it.
All right. Would you tell him that a Mrs. Enid Preston called, and she said that the paper sticker for his car...
what sticker is that?
I believe she said it was the one that read Vote Yes on Proposition 12.
I see, yeah.
Or it might have said Vote No on that. I can't
doesn't
remember.
matter.
Well, anyhow, it's in the mail.
Oh, good.
And she mentioned that Mr. Goulding better not put it near the exhaust pipe on his car, as the glue on the paper melts easily.
All right, well, I'll tell Ray that it's in the mail, and...
she also mentioned that the sticker had glue on both sides, so Mr. Goulding can paste it inside or outside his car. It's optional, she said.
Any messages for me?
Did you order a globe, a world globe, from a department store?
Yes, I did, about a month ago.
I thought so.
What about it?
Well, the man from the store told me to tell you that during the hot spell, the paint on the globe ran and all the countries fused together.
Oh.
He asked me to ask if you still wanted it.
Well, I guess it's better than nothing. If he calls back, tell him to deliver it, okay?
All right, let me copy that down. Mr. Elliott wants the defective...
I don't know what you call it, defective.
The funny globe delivered.
Mm-hmm.
There, that's got it. Incidentally, the man from the store told me to tell you that it's COD, $36, and he wanted to know if you'd be there to accept it and pay for the delivery.
Well, somebody will be there.
Well, the man from the store said that you'd better be there to accept it because the globe kind of looks like a beach ball, and only you'd know it was a world globe.
Uh-huh.
You see, well, what he meant was someone else might not want to pay $36 for what seemed to be a beach ball. So will you be there when it's delivered?
Did he say what day it would be delivered?
He said once he knew whether you wanted it, and you seemed to want it.
Yes, I do.
Well, he said that once he knew, the world globe would be delivered sometime between the 8th of this month and the 4th of next month.
Well, that would tie me up for almost, let me see, about a month, I guess.
Just about, Mr. Elliott.
Well, I'll tell you, if he calls back, tell him to put the world globe in a box.
That's a good idea. If it's in a box, anyone can take it, no questions asked.
Well, that's it, then. Tell him to put it in a box, and I don't care when it's delivered. Any other messages for us?
Yes, there's another message for you from the department store. They wanted to know if you ordered a beach ball.
I ordered a medicine ball, not a beach ball.
Well, the factory colored some medicine balls by mistake, and things are very chaotic at the store. They want to know...
Well, I tell you, that's about all the time we have to spend talking with you at the moment, Miss Clayton. But
well, don't forget to remind Mr. Goulding that the stickers
are
on the way.
I'll tell him, and we'll call back after any more messages, all right? Goodbye. I don't think we needed to even bother calling her.
Oh, well, I'm glad those stickers are coming. I like them for the car.
I have a card here. No, I know who I want to pick. Never mind. Quiet.
Bob knows who he wants to
talk to. I was shuffling through the audience cards that are filled out before each program, And I find that we have rather a prominent person with us, and I'd like you all to give a good hand. Where is he sitting, Mr. Vincent Price?
Right over here.
Could we have a hand for...
It's all right if they don't want
I
to
know,
applaud,
but it's common courtesy to Vincent Price, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that.
Would you get right in close to my microphone here so we...
Sure. Hi, Bob. Gee, I listen to your show almost every morning.
Thanks. I was going to say I had expected a younger man. You don't look exactly the way you did. Makeup is wonderful, of course, on TV.
Well, I'm not wearing any makeup.
No, I know, but I mean, the last time I saw you, you had a mustache.
Aftershave lotion's about the extent of my makeup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Vincent Price, tell us what you're doing these days.
Well, not very much. I am going to school. I'm studying political science. I'd like to someday get into politics.
That's pretty interesting. And a sidelight on a famous star, I think one that few people know about. You're planning to go into politics, huh?
I am. I'm learning to be the next governor of the state. When my daddy steps down, I'll step up. It's all been laid out very carefully.
I'll wait there.
Mm-hmm.
I was thrown off by you. You didn't sound like the Vincent Price when I first talked to you, and now you...
Well, I don't want to confuse you, Bob. I know you have a confusing enough program as it is.
Well, you are the actor?
That's, what?
The Vincent Price?
No.
You're not. Well, we've made another mistake, I guess, and I will just simply thank you. It was not the Vincent Price, but thanks for talking into the audience microphone of Bob and Ray.
Don't say that. I never liked the word.
All right. Well, I'm going back up on the stage now.
Sorry I confused you, Bob. Wally Ballou, come in, please, in Squaw Valley, California.
Meter slalom, and now we're going to chat with Sven Ostasvej, who is here to take part in the men's distance ski jumping. Sven, have you tried out this ski jump, which looks pretty fast today?
Well, it's all right. I don't know what I might try to go down on it there with the skis.
I saw you in the tryouts making a few trial runs down there.
Well, I was fall down. I was hurt there, my hip and my back. So I'm chicken now. I don't know as I go no more on that.
Well, once you start down the long slope there isn't much you can do, is there?
The price of fame is a sore back. I don't need that.
What's that?
Lingonberries.
Yes. As I say, once you start down there's no way of turning back, is there? You have to keep going right through the thing.
No, you can't. Once you leave the top there, it's pretty much you got to go through with it because you are going down on the hill.
What do you think of when you leave the... Excuse me, go ahead.
You go ahead, ask me. I have difficulty listening to you. I don't know your language too good.
What do you think of when you come off that jump and you head into the thin air hundreds of feet above the crowd?
Well, I always think that I wish I had not left the top. That's the first thought I have. And then the next one is I hope I reach the bottom in the one piece. I should be there.
Uh-huh.
And then in the hospital, I always think about it. Again, about what I will do.
Well, we want to wish you all the luck in the world, and we'll be looking forward to seeing whether you can break the record in the ski jump, and we'll be right down there in back of the ambulance if you're looking for us.
I don't think I'll go. I'm too chicken on here.
And so this is Wally Ballou returning you now to...
Now, round the corner and up your street comes your friendly poet-philosopher, Charles, to reach once again into his tattered, dusty manuscript, bring forth a poem or a story or a loving reminiscence of yesterday. Here, then, is Charles.
Hello. Can you ever forget that night when the stars lit the skies and we promised eternal love? Oh, to me it is but yesterday when we strolled neath the sky. To me, It was but yesterday when we strolled 'neath the sky.
Sorry, Charles.
And I promised you...
Please, Charles, continue.
Can you ever forget that night when I promised you that I would reach into the sky and take from it a handful of stars and...
Someone get the bird out of here, please. Charles, can you continue?
No. I'm sorry.
Well, then, it's time to say goodbye to your friendly poet-philosopher once again.
Oh.
Until next time he comes down the street
Why do they do
and
that
around
to
your
me?
corner. Charles says,
So long now.